Hey everyone, welcome back to the Calgary Tech Talk podcast. My name is Stuart Crawford, and with me as always in USS CTech is Carl Fransen. Carl, what's new with CTech since the last time we spoke?
Hey, Stuart. Hey, well, thank you for having me on the podcast again. It's always great. Every 2 weeks we sit down and talk about this. You know what? At CTech right here, I'm in my control room for a specific reason. We basically just launched a new product that I think we can give to the world and really help them take them to the next level. And I know everyone says that, but here's what it is. Did you know that today basically it's a phone system, but why is a phone system actually different?
Mm-hmm.
So, what if I said this to you? With being working remote, you're working remote, but you're not truly mobile because a lot of times staff are actually asked to use their cell phone a lot. Hi, here's my personal cell phone right here. It's a Galaxy something or other, whatever sort of thing. But the thing is, I'm giving out my personal number to clients. And not only that, I'm actually using my personal cell phone for work purposes. So my email's on here, my access to company IP is actually on my phone, and that's completely unmanaged. So we recognize this as a problem. So, dude, what if I said this to you? What if I can give every single device that you own in your house a work phone number? Think about that for a second.
Interesting. Yes, go on.
Now, normally that means that there's a benefit for this. One, you know how to give out your personal number to all of your work clients and your work friends. You
Yeah.
you have your personal number that stays personal. That's for you alone. If you decide to switch jobs or that one annoying customer that keeps phoning you all the time still phones you, they
Mm-hmm.
have your home phone number so they can reach you at any time, day and night. What if we put a work number alongside of your cell phone number? Which means this: you're no longer giving up just your cell phone number. You can port this number to any device. Like right now, I'm working on my laptop right here. And just as we started this whole webcast, RBC Bank popped up. You got a phone call from RBC on my laptop. It rang on my phone as well. But now that means that I'm able to take my work phone calls from any device I want to. If I shut down my laptop, I lose my phone. I'm able to log on to my wife's tablet with my work account, and suddenly that device now acts as my work cell phone.
Yeah. Pretty
So,
neat.
yeah, but the thing is, if I ever leave that company, my personal number stays personal. It's
Yeah.
yeah. So, and at the end of the day, it benefits the actual corporation, which means this: hi, this one number is for Carl Fransen. Now take the same number, transfer it to my replacement. And when the phone rings, it goes to the right person instead of going to my personal cell, and where I have to basically say, no, I don't work for the company anymore, or please phone this person. And what's especially good is that we have rules in the background for like an IVR system, integrated voice. Basically, you know the call answer person like, hi, press one for this, press two for that.
Yeah.
We have rules around that, which means that if I want to be contacted between this time and this time, or here's the after hours calling, all those rules take place. So I can make sure that if I don't want my phone to ring, it actually respects that.
Neat.
Yeah, man.
So what,
So
so what do you need? What do you need to get this going, Carl? Because it sounds like it's very complex.
well, really, all on the client side, we basically push a button, turn on a new subscription, and we say, hey, what numbers do you want? We have a whole list of numbers that we have for every province or every state. And right now, I can look like I'm calling from Ontario. I can grab an Ontario number if I wanted to, or I can get a BC number or Alberta number. And on the client side, we push a button, subscription turns on. We do a few black magic tricks in the background to say, you know what, Carl Fransen now has this number attached onto him, and it uses Teams. So wherever Teams is installed, via basically or where Teams is actually installed. Oh, look at this. I have the World Bank calling me back again. And now I'll go to my voicemail. The voicemail will be transcribed and emailed to me. So really, we're looking at competing against Shaw. We're looking at competing against TELUS, offering exactly what they offer, which is the full voice attendant, the full call, press one, press two, call forwarding, voicemail, and having the person's cell phones that dual nature between work and retail, work and private, and basically at a less cost than them. And plus, the client owns it as part of their Office 365 suite.
Yep.
Yeah, and really, they don't need anything. They just ask us to push a button. All the equipment is already there. No PBXs, no handsets, no nothing. If you already have a headset like mine, go for it. If not, purchase one yourself, or just use your laptop speakers and microphone.
Interesting. So
Very simple.
So it ties in the mic. It's part of Microsoft Teams, Carl?
It's the fully integrated set. In fact, it's so integrated. Say that you have a group, like at CTech, we have the technical group, and we have the sales group, we have the account managers group, we have the executive group. You can have it so that if it's press one for sales, you actually take a look at your group within an exchange and call those people in that exchange group. It is so tightly integrated together that is part of the entire ecology and it's built into Teams as well. The tool that we're using going back and forth to chat. So Teams becomes a tool for video conferencing. It becomes a tool for chat and voice. It becomes a tool for chatting, video, and voice, but also becomes your phone system. And not only that, each time you have a Teams meeting, another option shows up. The option, ready for it, to dial in via cell phone. Say if you're out and about and you don't have Teams, you just have a cell phone and you won't have Teams installed onto it, you're able to take your cell phone, dial a number, enter a PIN code, and then you're into a Teams meeting. So now conferences now become much more easily held for people who don't have Teams.
Pretty neat. So how does somebody migrate from their old phone system, even if it's a old hosted VoIP solution?
Old hosted VoIP, I love that, man. It is so easy. This technology has been around forever, and it's nothing that's actually new. All it takes is one quick phone call, and there is a process in the background when we talk to a telco, such as Shaw, TELUS, or whomever in a way, saying that we let phone numbers from you over to Office 365 over to us. And it takes around an hour or so, perhaps a day at the most. Numbers get ported over, and that's about it. The other phone system just is dormant and does nothing while all the numbers are redirected to the new area. So on the client side, it is blindingly simple to change. The amount of value that you get by saying, I now have a work number and cell phone and personal number on my cell phone, and every device gets a number. For me, it's almost a no-brainer. It's a fantastic tool. And
so what do I do with this Allworks phone that's sitting on my desktop?
You know what? I think eBay might be a good idea for it. Because now this is basically a tether to the past, isn't it? It's like you had to basically take a handset and basically plop it down in. Why? You don't need that anymore. You are sitting in front of a very high-piece tech part of equipment called a laptop. Your laptop has all the features a phone does. It has speakers and a microphone, and has video capability, and you can do your work on it. That becomes your new handset. So each time you hire on a new employee, each time you want to go truly mobile, you're not lugging around an old-fashioned phone with you with a touchpad on it and a receiver to talk into it anymore. It's legacy technology that can be tossed off to the side.
Very, very interesting. So you just simply replace your old hosted PBX or that PBX you have on site.
Exactly, yeah. It basically becomes like a server. It becomes like something that a piece of equipment that's obsolete and not used anymore. And no more maintenance, no more upgrades, no more nothing. It just happens all in the background for you.
So what are the reasons why somebody wouldn't go with this?
If they're locked into a long-term contract with a existing telco, hi, I'll give you free handsets, but you're locked into a 3-year contract. Beyond that, I don't think there's any good reason why not to. The majority of the features that are currently available today for on the actual telco side are very similar to the ones actually on the Microsoft side. So feature set is roughly the same, unless there's some specific integrations that you have with some kind of tool set, which is extremely rare. But no, unless you had a long-term contract, I don't think there's any reason why to not move someone over, really.
Wow, so it sounds pretty interesting. So I mean, there doesn't seem to be any reason why a company wouldn't go with something like this.
Not really, no. The cost savings are there. It increases the actual value of the phone system, makes you kind of more productive. It actually secures the company's assets to a new level, and it really basically is very simple to manage, to operate, and to maintain after the fact, because it's basically welded into your existing Microsoft DNA. Because let's think about it. Microsoft made the servers. Microsoft made the operating systems. We're going to say Microsoft made the Office suite, and all now the full system is now integrated into that entire portfolio. So it's made to all work together. And they've had this out for the past, I think, 3 years now. So they really had time to cut their teeth on it to learn how to be a telco. And I do know that they're continuously updating the actual software, making it better, making it more integrated. Beyond that, of anything else.
Great. So, all right. So that sounds pretty interesting. So that's part of the Microsoft 365 package.
It is, exactly, yeah. And like with CTech is, every single thing that we do here at CTech, we make sure that we run it internally ourselves. So we had clients actually clamoring at our door saying, this sounds fantastic, we want it. We held them off because the first thing that we do is we go through the entire process. I have my sales guys pitch to me, is this a good idea? Then I have them give me a quote on how long it's going to be, how much it's going to cost. I compared that against my existing phone system that I currently had and made a business call. Yes, this was a good idea. Then I had my internal techs. So my techs actually do an internal project of deploying this right across the board to everyone. And now, since it's been deployed, we're now at the ongoing and maintenance support phase. So far we have absolutely no issues with it. It is completely up and running. And I think one of the best feature about this is that they have Cortana voice recognition built into it. So whenever someone phones CTech, presses 2 for support, they get to speak the name of the tech of who they want to speak to, and it goes to them directly.
Mm.
The system will find them. It's like sometimes the techs are driving, they can answer the phone via like Bluetooth. Sometimes the phone's in the pocket and they're actually at their desk like this on Teams, and it'll ring on Teams in real time. So it's a much easier way of reaching the right person, not sacrificing many if all features, at a price point that's more competitive. And the best thing is, it is your subscription that you own through Microsoft. It's added on to your regular subscription set. So you reduce the number of vendors, and you don't have to basically buy any expensive handsets or be locked to an office anymore.
So Microsoft is taking over the world again.
Microsoft, yes, and that's one of the things that I realized. I think in the past, those governments controlled the areas. But right now, Microsoft and Google and Facebook and Twitter, the big four, maybe even IBM might be in there. Who knows? Amazon is definitely there as well. They have a section that spans across all countries. And now, think about that trust level, right? Because in the States, the big three is Facebook, Google, and someone else sort of thing was called before a Senate hearing meeting about them controlling too much.
Mm.
Crazy, huh? But
So in order to make this work, Carl, you have to be on a data. You have to have a data plan. Is that what does it use data, or does it use the traditional cell minutes?
it just uses data.
So
That's
I
all
know
it
in
is.
Canada, you guys are capped on how much data you can actually get.
Yep. And right now is there's a cap on here, yes, and basically the amount of data that you use on your cell phone is minimal. When it comes to basically voice chat, it's just basically voice going back and forth. It's a very low overhead protocol. And right now, most of the times you'd be basically talking via your laptop. And also you also have the ability to go back to your cell if you want to, your cell phone minutes, or you use data back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and honestly, the number of hotspots that are around Calgary here or wherever you are, basically you just tether onto a hotspot on like a Shaw hotspot or a Telus hotspot, and there you go. You know, free data for life.
Yeah, it sounds pretty cool. So how does an interesting company get involved with this? How do they get started with it? What do they got to do?
Just phone me, phone CTech. And basically, we'll take everything else from there. We'll have our techs, our solution architects, our analysis come down, have that conversation with you. Ensure that this is a good fit. Make sure that there is the cost justification right there. Make sure it is a value-based solution. And then from there, it goes quite fast afterwards. As long as we have access to your people's desktops, there we go.
Mm-hmm.
We basically turn on this subscription, assign the numbers, and then stop people from automatically reaching for their phone and dialing a number, but actually keeping their hands on the keyboard, pushing the actual virtual soft phone on Teams, or better yet, going into the contact list in Outlook and hit call, and the call happens right away. Because the contacts on your phone are synchronized with the contacts on your desktop.
Wonderful. So Carl, let's assume the world goes with Teams, and we're using Teams to communicate across the board. It sounds too good to be true.
It certainly does. And when I was actually down in Seattle, down at the Microsoft Executive Briefing Center, they basically had me down there. They wanted me down me for 2 or 3 days, and they kind of said their 10-year vision. Microsoft plans 10 years ahead sometimes. And Satya, the CEO of Microsoft, said we need to have a North Star. We need to have one thing that all of Microsoft is going towards. Some people said servers. Servers are the big thing. Satya said no, servers are not the thing anymore. People aren't going to buy servers anymore. So people said SharePoint, sharing documents. No. It's not sharing documents either. How about the Windows operating system? No, it's not the Windows operating system. It's going to be Teams. They said, what? Well, look at it this way, he said. Teams right now is a front end for every OS. Teams will work on Mac, it'll work on Unix, it'll work on Windows. We now have a common way of communicating, launching applications, and working together in one application. So Microsoft is directing all the resources to eventually saying, you know what, we are now platform agnostic. We love Apple, we love Unix, we love Windows, not going to go away, but the front end interface is purely going to be Teams.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to overlay Teams over on top of Mac OS, and that becomes your tool for communication. Phones, tablets, desktops, laptops, And don't forget, Teams does have a long way to go before they actually envision that.
Yeah.
But just imagine, you walk up to Best Buy, you go to Memory Express, whatever sort of thing. You pick up any laptop, any desktop, any cell phone. You log in with your account, and suddenly, bam, there it is. You have a complete working, fully functional experience to access all the services at work, all the services at home, all the functions of your cell phone in all one device.
I like it. I like it, Carl. I think it's a great way to go, and especially in the world we're going today with everything moving, at a rapid, accelerated pace to the cloud. This just ties in nicely to it.
Artificially accelerated, absolutely. And people are now wanting that because driving to an office, going to a desk, those are what people have expected in the past. In fact, my neighbor sometimes hears me muffled through the window sort of thing when I do a meeting. But sometimes the windows are open, and she's basically next door from me. And she said, "You know what? It feels good to hear that noise sometimes. That I'm actually back in the office." But she realizes I don't want to go back to the office because I can do everything from home. Why would I want to go to a skyscraper ever again? And this right here is just enabling that to take it to that next level, which is already there. We already see it. We already have that in our scopes, and that's where we're all moving towards. The full free lifestyle of we're going to live how we want to live. Not be dictated by technology that we have to go to a business. We have to go to the big city to get a job in an office and work in a cubicle, and hopefully have our own office one day with a door on it.
We talked about that a few weeks ago. The re-ruralization.
It's a thing of beauty, isn't it? And it just takes there's like on the bell graph, you have the early innovators. They're already there. They're already doing it.
Mm-hmm.
The people who are basically at the cutting edge of IT that fully embrace it, they're already living that lifestyle. In fact, I talked with a peer of mine named Cameron Chell. He's the CEO of Dragonfly, and he currently is on Bowen Island, working working his multi-million-dollar organization, who's down in the States, from an island on the coast of BC. And he is an innovator as well. And slowly, those innovators they'll move up that little graph to the early adopters to mainstream. And it's been pushed harder and faster by the early adopters now that we're all mobile, we're all at home. It's accelerated our need for this kind of technology.
Yeah.
So this right here is what's happening.
Wonderful. So, Carl, in conclusion, what's your recommendation for the business professional who upon our podcast here? What are the next steps for them to take?
Really, this is not a sales pitch, but I want them to get educated. I want them to basically open their eyes to the current technology that's out there and see if they can adapt their business to actually take advantage of that current technology to solve their current pain points. If you want my help with this, I spent the past 5 months creating the non-sales pitch door opening experience to show clients and show potential businesses what life is like working with what traditionally would cost tens of thousands of dollars to just maybe by tens of dollars a month for the same experience and more. In conclusion, and if you want to help with that, reach out to me. My number is always available. In fact, I have a new cell phone number which I'm kind of forgot what it is right now, but I'll post up here later. But just go to my website, ctechgroup.net. Click on me, and I'll be happy to have a conversation with you. Again, just to open doors, just to show what's out there. And if you want to see it working, I'll kind of part the curtain and show you CTech working in real time. Here's how we live the real modern workplace.
Wonderful. Wonderful, Carl. As always, great to catch up with you. I learned something today about Microsoft's foray into the voice world.
Yes, and I tried hard not to say the word COVID or the new normal. Look at that! I saw a little eyebrow just kind of twitch up there a little bit because it's a depressing topic.
It's got to go away eventually. So,
Yep.
It's been way too long, and I think everybody's just getting tired of it.
It is. It is. It is. Well, that's a topic for another time, don't you think?
It is.
Leave it on a good note.
There. Anyway, so my name's Stuart Crawford. Thanks for tuning into the Calgary Tech Talk podcast. As always, with me is the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend, Carl Fransen of the CTech Consulting Group. Carl, look forward to catching up with you again in 2 more weeks and talk about more stuff around technology and how business can leverage it, especially in the new normal.
The new normal.
All right. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye, everyone.